the whole agenda of today's talk, why information security standards compliance. Why we need that? Why it is important? What is important? Because normally, if you look at that from how we say, let's say medium scale organization to let's say large scale organizations, they are heavily dependent on data. They are heavily dependent onto the, let's say, network. They are heavily dependent onto the internet. If anything goes wrong onto the internet, or let's say, for example, let's say onto their servers, if there is, how we say, a downtime, or let's say if there is, how we say, a disruption onto the network, onto the, let's say, internet access, or let's say onto the data retrieval within the organization, so what happens that the business suffers, and especially how we can say, it suffers to any kind of, how we can say, amount or the number, and based on to that, what we need to have is that we need to have the information security to be put up in place. This is, I think, the first and the foremost thing. And putting up information security means that, there are, however, let's say, a required secure or, infrastructure which are there within the organizations. It means that, there are firewalls, there are AVs running, there are, however, let's say, for example, secure infrastructure in terms of the firewall, in terms of the IP, for example, let's say, UTM devices and all, they have to be there so that, these organizations and the perimeter of their organizations is safe from attackers, or they say malicious users and those who can, how we say, attack and how we say, steal data. So, based on to that, we need to have information security in place. This is one. But now, once we have the information security in place, we need to have the standards. Why standards? The standards are needed in order to protect data. So, if let's say, I go back to my next slide, and I'm just saying here is that to provide an adequate level of security to organizational assets. So, once why I'm talking about, because let's say we are talking about security standards compliance, and once we look at the security standards compliance, so we are talking about in terms of assets, because every organization has an asset. For example, if I talk about a router, if I talk about a switch, if I talk about a server, if I talk about, for example, a printer, if I talk about, let's say any other device within the organization, so that is basically is an asset, and this is what needs to be protected. And for doing that, I think information security standards are the best way of protecting it. The reason is that using information security standard compliance, we will be able to check, we'll be able to assign ownership, we'll be able to protect each and every, how we can say, asset which we have into the organization. So simply, if I need to answer that why the information security standard compliance is needed, so the idea of information security standard compliance is to protect assets in the organization. Assets could be, it could be hard assets, it could be a software assets. We can have a software assets, all data which is, is stored into the servers, which are stored into the databases. That's of course an asset. If I talk about a physical, let's say data, these, hard copy files. This is again the part of assets, and using information security standards compliance, even these, how we can say, hardware assets and hard files, hard data, and that could be kept safe and secure. So based on to that, if I try to talk about the different types of information security standards. So like in order to look at the different standards, there are plenty of standards. Of course, we are talking about the ISO 27001, and ISO 27001 is the information security management system, which provides, how we call, the complete protection to the organizational data. This is one. Now, we have ISO 27035. This is a standard which is, a newly, let's say, built standard, which talks about about the information security incidents. I mean, so we could have a number of, how we're going to say, I mean, incidents are on, and then how normally we can handle, we can coordinate, we can manage those incidents. And for that, we have the incident models, and then I mean different incident models from SANS, from the NIST, from the CERT, from the ISO, from RSP, and there are many other NISA. So these are the different, how we call, I mean, management, security incident handling management standards and the models which are used in order to handle incidents. And of course, I mean, we have a standard which is ISO 27035, which could be used for that. And then we have ISO 31000, that's the risk management. And I mean, risk management is one of the most important component of any information security standard compliance. And because, I mean, once we are talking about assets, so what we need to assess is the risk. So we have to have that risk, we have to manage that, and how to we manage that, of course, I mean, I'll be talking about this in my presentation at a later point of time. And then coming back to the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, and this is, of course, I mean, a US based, I mean, act, which is, I mean, much more focused towards, how we can say, information non-disclosure, and this talks about that way. And then we have having the, I mean, HIPAA. HIPAA is again a very popular standard, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Again, this is a US-based standard, and this defines normally the security standards for healthcare information. So, and then, I mean, we have the Federal Information Processing Standards, and that's again a US-based standard, which defines the security of information systems. So I think, I mean, these are the a few information security standards compliance. Apart from, however, there's a different framework, like we are having ETIL, ITIL, or ETIL, the way you pronounce it as, then we are having the COBIT. So these are the different governance frameworks, which are, again, they go, I mean, hand in hand once we talk about the IS standards, or its information security standards compliance. So moving further to the discussion. Again, I mean, since we are seeing information security standard compliance, I mean, my focus for today's presentation is much more, how we can say, I mean, orientation based on to ISO 27001. So basically, here we can just talk about that, how the risk assessment, I mean, is done. What are the different cycles into the ISO 27001? What are the policy and the procedures designed? Information system audit, what is the gap analysis? So we are talking about the IS standards compliance. So once we are trying to comply, what normally, how we say, I mean, organizations, they do is that in order to comply, they need to know, I mean, where do they stand? What is the status in terms of information security controls? What controls are in place? What controls are not in place? Controls means that if I'm talking about access control, so I mean, access control is, for example, let's say in terms of, for example, a policy, information security policy. So I mean, in terms of, for example, let's say human resource, how we can say compliance. For example, the contracts. I mean, if, how we can say, the contract mentions that there should not be a non-disclosure of information. So based on to that, the first thing which we talk about is the gap analysis. So we are talking about the information security standard compliance. So the first thing, in order to comply, I need to find it out what are the gaps. And for, how we can say, finding out the gaps could be a gap analysis. And for doing a gap analysis, I think information security audit plays a role, because I mean, that could be a preliminary audit which is done internally, or let's say, for example, let's say from external player who comes and audit the organization, and then based on to that, we happen to know, and by, how we can say, conducting a gap analysis of your organization, what is there, what is not there. For example, let's say, if I say information security policy is not there. For example, let's say clear desk, clear screen policy is not there. For example, business continuity and disaster recovery policy is not there. For example, let's say there are no proper, how we call, let's say, authentication mechanisms, which has been said. For example, let's say we are not looking at the logs, we are not monitoring the logs. So, I mean, there's no log analysis is done. So there is no logging who is using the system and what normally, what kind of activity that person is doing. So based on to that, this is what the information security standard compliance talks about. So we have to have the gap analysis. This is what is done. And once, I mean, we do the gap analysis, after that we look at the, I mean, controls that if all these controls, they have to be put up. And how can we do that? In order to do that, there is something is known as a risk assessment. So we need to, let's say, analyze the risk. And after that, we talk about, let's say, policy and procedure design. So firstly, I'm going to talk everything in much more detail. So I'm just trying to give, I mean, a basis where, let's say, we could understand more. The first thing is the gap analysis. We, I mean, do the gap analysis. We find out the gaps, we find out the weaknesses, we find out the vulnerabilities. Into this could be into the system, it could be into the network, it could be, for example, let's say, into the application, it could be into a physical process which is there in order to, let's say, safeguard the physical asset. This could be there. And based on to that, what normally we do is we do the risk assessment. Now, once we have analyzed the risk, based on to that, we try to design policies and procedure design, and procedure could be for example, let's say, I mean, if I don't want to write a policy for a complete policy for clear disk and clear screen, I could just simply write a procedure for how we call it clear disk and clear screen that could be implemented within the organization, and then, I mean, we follow that. Now, the third could be the third point is the information system, or let's say information security audit. So this itself is, I mean, a full-fledged, I mean, let's say, discussion of its own. But I mean, since we are talking about the compliance, so information security audit, or let's say information system audit, is the subset of, I mean, information security and compliance. That's why I think I want to touch this part as well. So this is like, I mean, information system audit. So this is again done, or information security audit, this is done in order to analyze the gaps, plus, I mean, it is done in order to comply with the, I mean, information security standards. So it I mean, works both the ways. It works for, how it will say, analyzing the gap, as well as it works, how it will say, in order to, I mean, check and how it will say, in order to follow up the routine for, how it will say, any standard which has been implemented within the organization. There also we talk about the information systems, I mean, let's say, or information security audit. So I mean, now looking at the ISO, what, I mean, how ISO, I mean, moves, and how ISO could be implemented, how could we achieve compliance, I mean, using ISO 27001 standard, for example. I mean, because as ISO, as like any other standard, I mean, the first thing which I think, I mean, we understand is that ISO is based into a, I mean, a cyclic based model, and since it is a cyclic based model, it is basically follows the very famous the plan, do, check, and act model, and in this, how we will say, I mean, there are nearly, how we will say, 11 domains into this ISO, and these 11 domains, and they are spread over 133 controls. So, but normally, once we say ISO, what it does, so ISO, again, how we will say, that provides the management controls necessary to achieve an organization's mission, manage risk, and then, of course, obviously assuring effective control within the organization. So before we start, I mean, talking about the information security and standard compliance, the most important aspect, I think, which we should be touching right here is the involvement of the senior management. Without the involvement of a senior management, any standard compliance normally fails. It's not really, I mean, possible to go go ahead with the, I mean, information security standard compliance as such. So this is, I think, I mean, something which I think we should look at it. And what are these 11 controls of ISO